having a baby that immediately endows a woman with clairvoyant powers. She is then able to perceive matters beyond the range of ordinary perception. Mothers know what is going on in the next room. They know what is going on upstairs with the door shut. They know what is going on in the school bus. My mother can even see into the future. When I said I wanted a dog, she said a dog would do nothing but get into trouble, and I said Skippy would never get into trouble because I would always be watching him, and she said, "Ha," but she let me get the dog. Then, when Skippy chewed through the cord on my electric blanket, dug up the tulip bulbs, and jumped on the sofa with muddy feet, Mom kept saying, "You see, I knew he'd be nothing but trouble." Mothers are so clairvoyant, they know what is going on even when they're miles away. When I got home from school today, there was a chocolate layer cake sitting on the kitchen counter. Now, I knew my parents were having company tonight, so it wasn't too hard to figure out that my mother was planning to serve the cake to her guests. Ordinarily, I would not even take one small piece under such circumstances. I might run my finger around the frosting a tiny bit, but I knew better than to cut into a cake that my mother had served for company. But I had forgotten to take my lunch money to school today. Not only that, my math teacher, Mrs. Franklin, who is fat and gross and wears knee-high pantyhose, which is the tops of show when she sits down, gave me a D in math, which I did not deserve, simply because I forgot to turn in my semester workbook. So when I got home and saw that chocolate cake sitting on the counter, I couldn't help myself. I ate a piece. In fact, I ate 2 pieces, and having done that, I knew I had a problem. Besides having to tell my mother about the D in math, I would also have to admit that I'd eaten 2 pieces of her chocolate cake. For a moment, I panicked, but then I thought of a solution. I decided to take the whole cake, not just 2 pieces, and replace it with another one. First, I measured the cake. It was exactly 8 inches across. So I put the cake on another plate and carried it upstairs and put it under my bed. I planned to take it to school tomorrow and be a hero among my friends. I even toyed with the idea of giving a piece to Mrs. Franklin. Maybe she'd change the D to a C minus. So I took all of my allowance out of my bank and hustled down to the supermarket and bought a chocolate cake. Now this cake was chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. It measured exactly 8 inches across. I figured I was home free. But when my mother got home, do you know what she said? She said, "What did you do with my cake?" Just like that. "What did you do with my cake?" I pointed to the cake on the counter and opened my mouth to speak. But before I could say anything, Mom said, "Don't make it worse by lying to me. You ate a piece, didn't you? And you didn't want me to know. So you traded the cake and bought another one." I could only stare at her and wonder. She was 10 miles away while I was switching cakes, but she is clairvoyant like every other mother in the world. Since I knew I was caught, I admitted everything. She said she'd rather serve her homemade cake even if 2 pieces were missing. So I went upstairs, got on my hands and knees, and reached under the bed. Skippy was there. The chocolate cake wasn't. I watched out the window until I saw Mom's guest coming up the front steps. Then I told her about the D in math. I figured she wouldn't yell at me in front of company. She might not have either, except that just as the doorbell rang, Skippy threw up on the rug. I'm glad I'm not clairvoyant. I don't want to know what's going to happen when Mom's guests leave.